Hello, and welcome to another episode of One Fault WrestleCast. Happy Labor Day. It's just Tom and I today. Today's Derek's wedding anniversary. So, the dream team's here, at least. We've got that going for us. Hey, man, I don't know if you know, but Phil got fired.
Sure did.
Can't wait to hear what Tom has to say about old Phil. AEW All In, All Out in Chicago happened on Sunday. WWE Payback happened on Saturday. And a bunch of little mishmashes all in between. Got plenty to talk about. Let's get after it. Like I said, just me and Mr. Tom. Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
I don't know if you know this, Walt, but we the ones.
And everybody else the twos?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
The number twos.
Fair enough.
Bunch of poops.
How you doing, pal?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
You're enjoying this beautiful holiday?
Yeah, dude, I needed to put the fucking bottle down for a hot minute. I
just picked it up, so I'm all right.
Rough potato
I was at the public
today.
pool. They don't let you drink there.
I was on a public golf course, and they have zero issues with letting you drink there.
Obviously. Do you drink
definitely
beer on the golf course, or go a little harder?
I usually carry a flask in my pocket,
Yeah.
and then I buy some beers, or some Twisted Teas, or some Arnold Palmers. Just depends on the golf course, depends on the weather. Today was very much a flask and Twisted Tea kind of day.
Yeah, Twisted Tea would have been ideal. Something a little more hydrating.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
92-degree weather.
We'll go with that. Man, it was hot out there today.
Yeah, it was. I was standing there I got sweaty putting on like suntan lotion before I got into the fucking pool. So it was not a day to just be chilling in the heat.
And the golf course that we played today is just wide open. Not a whole lot of shade and tree coverage, and
just sun and death, huh?
Oh, it was toasty today. I couldn't wait to get in the damn car. Couldn't wait to get in the damn car.
Get in the car, crank that fucking AC up.
So,
what's it set on? Lowest.
Yeah, it needs to be on highest.
Snow set on fucking winter.
Yeah, can I get the North Pole setting, please?
Hey, today was the official unofficial end of summer, so with any luck, it'll be back to being cold, back to fat guy weather. Good for us. Cool enough for us to just wander around comfortably in jeans.
I like the fall.
Yeah, I do too, but I don't mind. Once it's like 92, I'm like, fuck, I wish it was cold. Like I'll hate that like when it's actually cold, but I'm ready for some fall. I'm ready to smell dying things like leaves and bugs and stuff.
Hey man, Phil got fired. We're not going to talk about it right now, but
he sure fucking did. He sure fucking did. There was also a couple of pay-per-views. There was a lot of wrestling. There's wrestling on right goddamn now.
Yeah, there sure is. And, I'm glad that you brought that up because I would really like to start off with something that affects wrestling that's on television right damn now. Okay. And that's Jey Uso apparently headed to Monday Night Raw to pursue a solo career.
Monday Night Raw getting Usi.
How you feel about Jey Uso getting the singles push off on Monday Night Raw all by his lonesome?
We'll see how that goes. I'm into it. because I like Jay.
Makes me want to watch Monday Night Raw. That's for sure. That's for certain.
I mean, I watch Monday Night Raw pretty much every Monday. Or at least I put it on while we're talking. But yeah, it's I'll tell you what. The nice thing about Raw, we used to complain about this, that it's so long. It was like, oh god, it just drags. It's so hard. It must be so hard to have a 3-hour show. Apparently not, because now they've just figured, hey, why don't we just give these matches time? And now they do that. And there's like actually good wrestling on Mondays. So it's like, here's some good wrestling. Here's some good wrestling promo segment. Grayson, sometimes we'll have one of those like talk show things, promos, whatever. But there's always like a couple matches that get some time. Tonight, that match seems like it's going to be Gunther and Chad Gable. And that's going to be a banger. That's going to be the main event tonight for the Intercontinental title. That's going to be great.
Yeah, but Gunther's going to win. I mean, there's no...
I mean, he is.
I mean, we're like a week away from him beating the Honky Tonk Man. He's a Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to beat the Honky Tonk. Yeah, you're right. But that doesn't mean I still don't want to see that match.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's going to be great for sure.
It'll be great because we'll be finished up by main event time for sure. We'll get that shit on. I'll just be able to focus on that shit. It'll be great.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic. So, word on the street is Cody Rhodes is headed to SmackDown with this Jey Uso. It's kind of like in a little bit of a trade thing. Now, I haven't really seen much of anything other than just the one little article that I clicked on that said that Jey was going to Raw and Cody was going to SmackDown. But, I mean, I think Cody's kind of pretty much done everything he can do on Raw, right?
I mean, if he's not going to fight Seth and beat Seth, then yeah, that's pretty much it. I think that there's going to be a little bit of transition there because Cody had put up some kind of almost like a card of things he would be at. And there were a couple Raws and a couple SmackDowns, but they weren't in the same week. So it seems like he might trade off a little bit for a couple of weeks before they do something fantastical on TV to make it official. Have Adam Pearce walk out and do that. But no, I would think that for sure before WrestleMania, Cody will become a full-time SmackDown dude.
Well, I mean, it just makes sense, right? Because he's going to be going after Roman at WrestleMania. I think that we all see that is the way of the world, and that is the future that is in front of us. I mean, it really just makes sense that he's there so that he can continue to just mow through people on SmackDown and have a couple of good feuds leading into WrestleMania and, either win the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber and get a shot at Roman, right?
I hope he wins the Elimination Chamber. That would actually be the more fun match for him to win, I think, than the Rumble. Because clearly he won the Rumble already and then he lost at Mania. So I would much rather see him put on a banger at Elimination Chamber. He should start Elimination Chamber and win, but make it be is he or isn't he? That kind of thing at the end there. And I think that would be, I think that would be ideal. I don't know who'd win the Rumble, but I would prefer to see Cody win the Elimination Chamber if that's how it's going to be. Just because, one, I love the Chamber, I really do. I think history proves that I'm always a big fan. And two, it's especially after Cody came in at 30 and won the Raw. I don't need to see that again. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't. Yeah. It's especially the same person winning the Rumble 2 years in a row. With how, I don't want to say wasted, but how sort of pre-scripted the Rumble has felt over the last couple of years. I would rather it be somebody. I would rather there be a pool of guys who I would be maybe one of these 5 guys will win, and then maybe have it go that way. Kind of the way the Women's Rumble went, you know what I mean? Where it was Rhea entered at number 1. We knew she was a contender for potentially winning, but she also came in at number 1. And, there's obviously a bunch of other. I would prefer to see something like that happen with the Men's Rumble because I feel like it's been too there's the person that's going to win the Rumble as soon as you see him come out,
Right. I mean, and we went and sat at a bar and watched Rumble together, and
Sure did.
you know, like we knew Cody was coming back, but I don't think that number 30 was the right place to drop him.
No, and then
you
just
ask
have him
me.
win after like what 2.5 minutes, however long it took.
Yeah, so that just didn't really do it for me. But you know, it is what it is, right? And it's like that's kind of where we're at. So,
Well, I mean, it always looks tremendous in the promo packages leading up to it. Like as much as in the moment we're like, oh come on. By the time they've got those hype packages together, we're like, let's go.
Yeah. So
Damian Priest versus Sami Zayn here at 8:36 p.m. I don't know what I missed, but
did you get a chance to watch All Out this weekend, bud?
I saw bits and pieces of it because I didn't pay for it, but I also was like paying attention while it was going on and watching the clips, and then I did go back and watch a few things. I did watch the MJF Adam Cole match. I thought that was good. MJF and Adam Cole were very good. I liked Samoa Joe was coming out for his match as they were going back up. Samoa Joe shoved MJF like he did when Samoa Joe was NXT champ and MJF was his security, and he shoved him. Same thing happened again. That was pretty great. I saw that Mox won without bleeding.
Yeah. He beat the most over champion in AEW history, the most
really
dominant champion in AEW history.
That's
and
true.
won
He is the most dominant
All
champion.
Atlantic / international champion in freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. I know you're not a big fan of old OJ, but my man has had quite the title run, and he's been a lot of fun to watch. And I know you don't like him because he's shticky and he's over the top gimmicky. But this has been a pretty impressive reign.
It was better than I anticipated. I will give him the credit where the credit is due. He defended his championship and was a rather good champion. I will agree with you. As far as AEW, you know, people with belts in AEW, he was absolutely one of the best to ever hold one. He did a better job with that title than anybody has done, than most people have done with most of their titles. I will give him that. That being said, as is usually the case with AEW, when Phil Brooks gets hurt or in trouble over the last couple of years, Jon Moxley is the next guy to step up and be the main event guy, and then be wearing some gold. And this is still what's happening. So apparently Saturday is now the Jon Moxley show. Guess we'll see what happens.
I mean, as long as it's not cringy Blackpool Combat Club Jon Moxley, I think we can both be in agreement that be A-okay.
Yeah, that'll be fine if we get like, hey, you have to be focused, Jon Moxley, because we need you for storylines, not, hey, you're on your living your best life. And you living your best life treat run. We'll call it a treat, like a dessert run is sort of what he was on. It was like, hey, do you want to bleed and be in hardcore matches every week if you save the company for the summer? Yeah, I would absolutely love to have somebody stick fucking wooden skewers into my head every week. That's my favorite thing. But yeah, no, as long as we can get semi-serious, champion of the company, Jon Moxley, I'm down for that. Kind of already thinking it's going to be a little bit RIP Saturday show, but I guess we'll see what happens. Jon Moxley versus Samoa Joe, I'm probably in for, though. If we're going to get some of that, I'm probably down to watch that. So
yeah, that would be good. I would be.
If they do that, then I think Saturday is going to be okay, but we'll see what happens.
So for me, like, I didn't really have the time in my weekend to watch AEW All Out. I heard that it was a good show for what it was. Obviously, on the
it was very hot shotted. To be fair, there wasn't really any build to any of the matches. The matches themselves, I think, were good. They generally AEW tries to put on a good show. matches all get time and things like that. I thought it worked out okay match wise. I don't think that any of the matches particularly had a lot of meaning or significance behind them. I don't think it was necessarily worth anybody's $50 to pay for it. But that being said, I don't think that it was necessarily a bad show. I just think it was poorly built.
Yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to what, what you're trying to get out of an AEW show. And I mean, I'm sure that there's plenty of folks that would argue your point there, but I mean, you got a match like Miro and Will Hobbs, that whole lot of meat, man, whole lot of meat.
Slap that meat, slap that meat. That was actually built decently, and I don't think the match was particularly fantastic. I think that match would have been better suited as the main event of like a weekday show, either like, of like a regular, like a TV show. That would have been, it would have drawn more eyeballs, I think, than it would have got pay-per-view buys. But I don't think that was necessarily a bad thing. I think the build was okay. The addition of CJ Perry, I think, was an interesting one, because we didn't know she was going to be there, but then there she was. So I don't know.
It doesn't really move the needle for me, man. Like,
not anymore. I don't think. I mean, I think maybe had they advertised that she was going to be there or something, or had they teased her on like a Wednesday and then she was there on Saturday, it might have helped a little bit. But just a surprise, like, surprise bring out at a pay-per-view, I don't think that she's necessarily interesting enough or really good enough to kind of do any of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know, man. It just doesn't really do it for me. And, I'll be interested to see what they do, how they do it. Obviously, with Phil getting the oust, I mean, there's going to be a little bit of TV time to Phil on Saturdays. Miro could definitely be one of those guys.
And Andrade.
Yep.
Who also was like, hey, yeah, man, we got a match to do.
Yeah. I mean, it really feels like it's business as usual over at AEW, whatever their business is.
Marking out for the boys, huh?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But like, Payback was pretty good. I watched Payback.
I like
this
Payback
weekend.
a lot.
I did find time to watch that. For me, that was, if I would have had the choice. I mean, obviously I did have the choice, but if I would have only had time to watch one, that would have been the one that I would have watched. And it was the one that I watched. And I mean, I was not disappointed. It's a little 6-match card, plus the Grayson Waller effect. Obviously, we learned that Jey Uso is headed to Monday Night Raw, and he's been out today already. Opened the show with Sami Zayn, which, kudos to him. He's getting put into a marquee spot. Hopefully it pays off. I'll be interested to see how that works out. But, I mean, the main event was really good. I thought Shinsuke and Seth Rollins looked real good. And I guess Shinsuke attacked Seth Rollins after the show went off the air, so they're probably going to try to continue that for a little while.
I'm happy with that, because I think I'd like to see this feud continue. I feel like, I don't want to say it wasn't built long enough, but I feel like it wasn't built long enough for it to only be one match. You know what I mean? Like, let's have them have an extra match. I thought the back and forth between those two was great. I don't know if I like that Seth won clean necessarily. But just because I feel like a clean win is a very like sort of solid end, but they're clearly continuing the feud. But I feel like the clean win is sort of the nail in the coffin of a feud. You know what I mean? But maybe they'll do the thing where there's where Shinsuke takes one and there's a rubber match or whatever. So I guess we'll see what happens. Maybe Shin will take one by count out or submission or something, and then or count out or disqualification or something, and then there'll be a rubber match or something. We'll see. So I don't know.
Hey,
That
man,
was
how'd you
I
like
thought
the
that was
Pittsburgh Steel City street fight?
I had mixed feelings about it. It was a little cheesy, a little gimmicky.
Yeah, it was a lot
Overall, I
cheesy
thought it
and a
was
lot gimmicky.
yeah, it was both of those things. That being said, I liked the result a lot.
I did too. I wasn't mad at it.
Yeah, so I feel like the result really saved the cheesy gimmicky part for me. Especially when they like showed up and they had the Penn's gear on, they're tapping the sticks, and like I was like, okay, like please don't pander to me. Like I get it, thank you, I love you, but don't pander to me. Kevin Owens' Crimson Mask got wiped off at some point, like he was clearly bleeding, and then it got wiped off before the end of the match, before the end was over. So I don't know. It looks like JD McDonough showed up and got invested in. Man, he has a giant head and a tiny body. That's really weird. Oh, he's gonna
Yeah,
get his
yeah,
ass.
he's a strangely built fellow.
He's like a Funko Pop, man. He looks like a Funko Pop. JD McDonough Funko Pop could be like to size, and it would be fine. Jesus. Anywho, Helova kick. Anyway, but yeah, no, I thought that it was great. I really liked the show. I thought all those matches were fantastic. Especially Trish and Becky really put on a banger.
It was
Like
good.
they kicked off the show, and man, was it good. Man, was that good. Trish had a bruise, welt, whatever on her forehead that looked gnarly as fuck.
Yeah, that she did.
Trish took some pretty gnarly bumps for somebody in their mid 40s who don't do this full time. And she looked good. Like she looked great doing it. Like she took bumps like a champ. She fought like I thought everything. Trish didn't look like she had lost a step. In fact, she looked like she got better. So I thought that was really, really good. They did not disappoint in the slightest. Coming out, I was like, okay, I guess let's get this out of the way. And then it went like 25 minutes, and it was fucking fantastic from start to finish. So, yeah, no, even that was great. The Steel City Street fight, like I said, loved the finish. A little cheesy in the middle. I don't know. The means to the end, I feel like were worth it. So I can't really complain terribly about it, but it wouldn't have been my favorite match on the card regardless. So
What you think about Tony Storm costing Ruby Soho? No, yeah. Ruby Soho the TBS championship. It's at the end of the Outcasts X Degenerates.
Yeah,
World
so I think it's clearly that Tony's out because whatever Tony Storm is doing right now is great, and they need to go with that. The whole like she's sort of transforming into like a 1940s like or a 1930s like Hollywood heiress. I really like it, and let's just keep rolling with that. Or 60s, maybe it's 60s. I don't know. I wasn't alive. What the fuck would I know? But no, I like what Tony's doing. So if Tony's out and is about to be on a singles run of that character, I'm all for that because that is tremendous, and it's the best thing going on in the women's. Tony Storm is the best thing going on in the women's division right now. So if you're just gonna give her the ball and let her run with it and have like some storylines and some seeds planted here and there, and she's gonna break off from the Outcasts and then do her own thing, I'm here for it. I think that she's been one of the, there are a few bright spots in AEW, and Tony Storm has absolutely been one of them. So if they're going to let her keep doing what she's doing, away from the kind of weird green spray paint, NWO, DX sort of fake shit that's going on with the other two, I think that that's good. Soraya with the AEW title, I think could be good depending on what they do with Ruby and if they bring Mercedes Moné into the mix, which clearly is what they're teasing. They've basically come out and told us, "Hey, don't stop watching AEW. We're gonna have Mercedes Moné here in a little bit, and she's gonna fight Saraya. You guys have wanted that, right? You guys, that's exactly what you guys have wanted, right? Like, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Make sure we're gonna put it on. We're gonna put it on Dynamite. You guys like Dynamite, right? It's on Wednesdays." Anyway, that was my version of your version of Tony Khan. It wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as yours.
Hey, so I guess Sonny Kiss is no longer a member of the AEW roster.
Shocker. When was the last time we saw him? Them. Him. Her. It's been a while. They stopped having those YouTube shows, and he hasn't wrestled anybody.
Everybody just kind of been quietly going away.
Well, it's because they don't need all those people that only wrestled on YouTube anymore. They got enough TV time and enough decent wrestlers. Bro. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, so I don't want to get canceled for this, but I don't think Sonny Kiss was actually that good of a wrestler per se. Like, the gimmick was fine. It was interesting, at least in the beginning of AEW, but it just doesn't fit anymore. And he's not a good enough wrestler to put on those like 20-minute bangers. You know what I mean? Like, he just kind of needs to go out there and do his little shtick and, you know, do whatever and have a 3 to 5 minute match. And that's just not what AEW is. And I don't know. I don't necessarily think that. I think Sonny Kiss is sort of built for the independent scene, and anything that's going to be televised, there's no way he was going to be a major player. You know what I mean? So I don't know why they would keep him on fair. just for whatever shits and giggles or whatever. I mean, I think there's a lot better. A lot of the people that are just quietly going away, it's like, well, clearly there's just better wrestlers. And now, particularly that Tony Khan also owns Ring of Honor and has acquired all of that talent, he doesn't need his like undercard that is never going to make it on television. He doesn't need those guys anymore. You know, he's got better wrestlers that were already established in Ring of Honor and that he can use as he needs there, and then put them on the Ring of Honor stuff. He doesn't need to fill Ring of Honor with guys like Sonny Kiss.
No, I agree. I mean, I think Ring of Honor is a solid product, and he's got the right folks in the right places to kind of make that something special if he so chooses to do that. But only time will tell on that piece of the
puzzle. I mean, he's got to manage it right. So, I mean, there's that, or he's got to hire somebody to manage it right, because that's clearly going to be a recurring theme with all of this. But regardless of whether it's managed right or wrong, I don't think that Sonny Kiss or any of those guys who were on Dark or Dark Elevation are really like. Truthfully, I think I think Mark Henry and the Big Show are probably going to be gone pretty soon too. I don't think they're getting new contracts. If I'm being honest.
No, I don't. I mean, Mark Henry's on television like 34 seconds a week, and he's got to be commanding a pretty large paycheck. I mean, he was also just doing commentary on Elevation, and I mean, I haven't seen or heard from the Big Show. Allegedly, Captain Insano, who shows no moisey, was supposed to be at All In London, but we didn't see that either. So
sure didn't.
I don't really know what they're doing with Big Show. I know that a couple of years ago he made an appearance in Pittsburgh and saved Tony Schiavone's son, and it was a whole thing. But that's really the last thing that I remember Big Show doing.
Well, he did commentary for Dark Elevation.
I don't fucking know.
I mean, I didn't watch it, but allegedly that's what he was doing. I don't know. It's just not. He's not. I mean, I think the thought was that the Big Show can maybe still go, but every time you hear that, or like, oh, the Big Show's coming back for a return, then immediately, like the next week, you're like, oh, Big Show had hip surgery. Like, why would you say that he's coming back? And then he had hip surgery on Friday. You said he was coming back on Wednesday, and then Friday he had hip surgery. Like, what? He's got to recover now for 8 months. Like, what the fuck? And I feel like that's been the recurring theme. It's like Big Show's coming back, and then on Friday you're like, Big Show got new knees. Like, what? What do you mean Big Show got new knees? You said he was coming back on Wednesday. So it's not. No, I don't see him coming back either. I think he has used Tony Khan to replace his hips and his knees and maybe an ankle. Am I wrong on that? Maybe an ankle. But I think that's what I think Tony Khan has fit those bills. We'll see if Captain Insano ever shows no moisey or if the Big Show is quietly let go. And thanks for all the surgeries, Tony. I appreciate those. I've needed those for a while. Guess we'll see.
Wow. Yeah, man. I mean, pretty jam-packed weekend, and if we're being honest, I think outside of the 2 pay-per-views and those being what they were, been a little quiet on the drama side aside from Phil, and I can't wait to get your opinion on Phil here in a little while, but we're just going to keep the old bus just chugging along here.
Chugging along.
The Young Bucks were on Collision this weekend. I saw that. How'd you feel about that?
I mean, obviously the door opened and they jumped right through it. Like, here we are. They took a victory lap. Did you see that? I think I
did see they took a victory lap.
A little victory lap. They're clear, and being the elite, the same thing. They're clearly very happy with them. They're very pleased with themselves. Time will tell whether or not that their ding dong, the witch is dead doesn't turn into ding dong, my company's dead. We'll wrestle for food. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. That I feel like that kind of leads into what I'll be talking about with Mr. Punk here once we get to that. But so my thoughts, particularly on them, is that it's sort of classless. They've been rather classless this week. Clearly, they're on their victory lap because they got their way, and they've been not shy to show us that they're happy that they got their way. So it seems classless and tasteless in my humble opinion. Not that I expected class or taste out of the Young Bucks. I think they're classless and tasteless. And Kenny Omega too was actually also drank a Pepsi in a weird way and then said it tastes like lighter fluid, which is clearly a knock on Pepsi Man. If only Danhausen wasn't hurt again, I feel like this could have all been avoided. But unfortunately, our friend Mr. Hausen is hurt again, and he needs teeth and sacks of money. Man, that hasn't paid off either. Danhausen was very excited. He was very excited when Danhausen came to AEW. It was like, oh man, we're gonna get to see Danhausen on TV, and then they stuck him with the Best Friends, which made no goddamn sense. And he was still recovering because he recovered for a while because he'd broken his leg. And they stuck him with the Best Friends, and that was stupid. And then he got hurt again, and we've not seen him.
Huh?
What?
Very nice, very evil.
Very nice, very evil. Bring him big. He needs a blimp and a jar of teeth.
Bags of money.
Bags of money. Jars of teeth.
Oh, shit. What else happened this week?
I mean, that's mostly it. Miz is out here looking like LA Knight again.
That was a pretty good match.
That was that was better than I thought it was going to be, honestly. That was like one of the other ones that I was like, okay. And then it went on, and it went. I don't know why it was better than I thought it was going to be. Like, clearly LA Knight can go. Obviously, I know the Miz can go. It was about as good of a match as the two of those guys could have put. Both those, let's be fair, both of those guys are in their mid-40s. and they just went out there and put on a wrestling match like it was 10 years ago for them. Yeah. And it was that style of match too. It wasn't a very modern high flyer type, it wasn't that kind. It wasn't like Ricochet was in there. It was a very like 10 years ago work rate match, and that's what they had. And they did a good job. Clearly LA Knight won. But obviously Miz is out here looking like LA Knight again, so that's going to continue on. And I guess that's fine. It died.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I think
both those guys are entertaining. It makes sense to put entertaining guys together and have them feud. I don't have a problem with it.
No, man, I feel like they're gonna they still got some legs, right? Like they're still gonna be able to go out there and talk some shit about each other, and Miz is gonna just be able to just play his chicken shit heel role, and I only lost because John Cena was a special guest referee, blah 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 blah.
That was cool too. Honestly, I liked John Cena the whole time he was there. I enjoyed John Cena's involvement as well. There are little things that I think are happening with this writer's strike, and John Cena just being on WWE TV for the next 2 months, I think is really cool. I'm here for it. Like, especially if he's just going to be like, oh, I'm hosting this pay-per-view and I'm the special guest referee. Like, he doesn't have to really take any bumps or anything like that. Or I'm a backstage
correspondent.
What now?
I said, or he does the backstage correspondent thing, and
loved that. That had me cracking up. Great. And if you noticed, he had like crouched down a little bit so that everybody was taller than him, everybody was taller than he was. Yeah, I like that.
It was a good look. Overall, man, good weekend of wrestling. I didn't watch Collision. I haven't seen the ratings for Collision either. Being up against college football Saturday, and
because it's Monday and it's a holiday, they haven't come out yet. So okay. I think we'll see. I think we'll find out tomorrow or Wednesday. So although I think Brian Alvarez has me blocked on Twitter because I'm not seeing his tweets either. So if he's tweeted it, I haven't seen it. So.
And, I think early reports are showing that All Out in Chicago was like 100,000 pay-per-view buys.
Oof. It's pretty low.
I mean, they did 150 for All In, and everybody thought that was the greatest thing ever. Like, I don't understand.
150. But they also sold like 80,000 tickets to that. So that's pretty good. It's the highest grossing show. Like they've sold more tickets to that show than they sold to any other show ever. So I don't know. We'll see. I think AEW's pay-per-view buys, and I think particularly their TV their TV eyeballs, I think that's going to be down. You know what I mean?
Well, especially considering, they fired Phil.
Yeah.
So,
gonna be rough.
Listen, man, really, when it just comes down to it, the reason that we're here is we're here to talk about Phil.
We are.
There wasn't really a whole lot of excitement other than your best friend, Daniel Garcia, who now is like Alex Wright, with the dick dancing gimmick. All of a sudden, I just don't.
Can we talk about him for a second? That shit sucks. Like, that is like, man, like, I know that I said he was the least interesting man in the room. And yes, does his stupid gimmick, does his stupid dance make him slightly more interesting? It does. But it makes him suck more. Like, it sucks. God, he sucks. Like, I just can't with this guy. Like, why is he on TV? Why does the internet why does Twitter like, I don't know if you watch wrestling Twitter, but somebody's like, oh, this is everything. And they just post a clip of him doing that thing. And then all the comments are, this is literally fucking garbage. Why would you post this? This is absolute dog shit. And it's absolute dog shit. Like, it can't be any worse for this guy. It really can't. Like, I don't understand how. Like, I mean, he's not interesting. He's a mediocre wrestler. I don't know, man. Like, it's just this is not this. That's not it for me. It's not. I don't want to see it. Like, of all like, he makes me want to shut the TV off. Him and Chris Jericho and Sammy. It's like Chris Jericho has like amassed all these misfits, and it's like, what's gonna make Tom want to shut the TV off? Basically, anybody who's ever had anything to do with Chris Jericho and AEW is gonna make me want to shut the TV off. It's so fucking bad. And Daniel Garcia is probably the worst. And it's hard for me to say that because I also think Sammy Guevara fucking sucks. But
yeah, I'm not a fan either. If we're being honest, Sammy Guevara, it's not. It doesn't move the needle for me, to take a phrase from Derek. I don't know, man.
It makes me want to change the channel. It makes me want to put on like, is Chopped on? Like, what the fuck's going on? Like, what am I doing here? Like, that's how I feel. Like, can I watch a rerun of Chopped or like Man versus Food or something like that? Like, I would rather watch that gimmicky bullshit than have you tell me that's cool. There's nothing cool about any of that. Nothing cool about him. No. Just no. That's all I gotta say. Just no.
Hey, Bryan Danielson made his return this weekend.
Sure did, with random like fucking gauze on his head. What's wrong with his head? Why does it have gauze on it? Who gauzes their head? Why is he bleeding?
It's a headband, bro.
No, it was gauze.
Pretty sure it was a headband.
I'm pretty sure it was gauze.
You talking about the post match?
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was a headband, pal.
Okay. Well, it was stupid.
Yeah, you're salty as fuck today. I thought you would be rejoicing, being as Phil got fired.
I'm not rejoicing about that either.
Oh well, here, you know what, dude? It's just time. We've talked about it. So, statement from All Elite Wrestling and Tony Khan. All Elite Wrestling has terminated the wrestler and employment agreements between Phillip Brooks, aka CM Punk, and AEW with cause, effective immediately. The termination was confirmed today by Tony Khan, CEO, General Manager, and Head of Creative for AEW. The termination follows a week-long internal investigation of an incident that occurred backstage at AEW All in London on Sunday, August 27th. Following the investigation, the AEW Discipline Committee, that's a joke, right?
Yeah.
Met and later convened with outside legal counsel before making a unanimous recommendation to Khan that CM Punk be terminated with cause. Khan offered the following statement. Phil played an important role within AEW, and I thank him for his contributions. The termination of his AEW contracts with cause is ultimately my decision and mine alone. Of course, I wish I didn't have to share this news, which may come as a disappointment to many of our fans. Nevertheless, I am making the decision in the best interest of the many amazing people who make AEW possible every week. Our talent, staff, venue operators, and many others whose efforts are unsung but essential to bring our fans great shows on television and at arenas and stadiums throughout the world. So Phil got fired, pal. We were talking a little bit before we hit record here, and it's like, is this a work?
So I hope this is a work, and let's start there. And I agree with where we're starting. I hope this is a work, and here's why. Because if this is a work, this is fantastic, and this is exactly what AEW needs to be doing, storytelling wise. Give everybody a good work, including Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, all the dirt sheets. A good work, because already this is a great work. If this is a work, this is a great work already, and I'm fucking into it, and I'm here for it, and I will sing their praises from the highest mountaintops if this is a work. I hope to God that this is a work, because this would be such a fantastic work, because we were already like, oh no, can they coexist? Can Phil coexist with the AEW locker room? Can CM Punk survive in the AEW locker room? with the Elite. Oh my God, can this work? Like that's all anybody's been talking about for the last year. And if this is a work, and the work answer was no, and then he miraculously makes his comeback, that would be tremendous. That being said, I've watched this product for long enough to know that nobody is that smart to do that. And that being said, I hope it's a work. Oh my God, I hope it's a work. Oh, wow, what a work it would be if it was a work. What a good, it would be one of the greatest works in wrestling ever. But it's probably not.
Hell no, it's not a work.
And
they're not that good.
Huh?
They're not that good.
They're not, and that's the problem. What this probably is just another failure in the management of all Elite wrestling. I mean, it doesn't take a genius to see that nobody's told anybody no the entire time. And nobody has told anybody to be professional the entire time. And, CM Punk is clearly a head case and clearly a guy who, is hard to work with. We'll put it that way. Hard to work with. It worked in WWE for a long time, but in AEW, it's not managed as well, so it didn't work. And on top of that, it's the inmates run the asylum, so through poor management and poor just kind of everything, we sit here on the eve of the second CM Punk major suspension and now firing because of inept management, completely inept management. It should have never gotten this far. It should have never gotten that far the first time years ago. And apparently what happened this time, one, CM Punk shows up to London and travel is bullshit. And we talked about this last week.
Yeah, but everybody's travel was bullshit.
Everybody's travel was bullshit. But still, that's a management problem. That's the groundwork I'm trying to lay. 2 weeks before that, apparently there was supposed to be a Bury the Hatchet meeting with the Elite, but the Elite canceled that. And Tony let that cancellation happen. That's on Tony because obviously Kenny Omega and the Bucks have taken their victory lap for that CM Punk firing pretty much since the day it happened. Every opportunity they've had, that's what they've done. They did it on being the Elite. The Bucks came out on Saturday and took a little victory lap because they're not supposed to be on the Saturday show, but they were this week. Took a little victory lap. And then at All Out, they came out in their Brawl Out gear from All Out last year. They were wearing the same gear. So clearly they're very happy with the results that happened with their backstage politicking. They're so happy about it that they were more than willing to show everybody on their YouTube show, on Collision, and at the All Out pay-per-view. So that's already happened. But that just sort of shows another failure of management, right? Would you let that happen as a manager? Would you let somebody come in after maybe a slightly unpopular worker of yours was let go with cause? Would you let somebody come in like Ding Dong, the witch is dead? You like that would clearly not be good for morale, right?
No, that's a morale thing for sure.
And that's so, but Tony let that happen like a lot, like not even just once. Like it happened on Saturday. It was happening backstage clearly because of all the being the Elite stuff, and then it happened again on Sunday. This leads me to another point. Do I like CM Punk? No, I think that Phil Brooks is a child. I think that he's soft. I think he's a snowflake. I think that he needs to man up and be an adult. I think that he's struggled with that his entire career. He's one of those guys that was so talented. His talent got him to the top, but he's gotten in his own way. Like as many passes as everybody has tried to give, and everybody has tried to give him passes. Everybody has tried to let him just be him and just be like, okay, we're going to give you a pass this time. Okay, we're going to give you a pass this time. But every time he refuses to go on the straight and narrow and just continues to get in his own way and be an unprofessional dickhead. And I don't like him for that. But that being said, within AEW, despite him getting passes, the management is so poor in AEW that it doesn't matter. There was no way to prolong this and allow them to continue, because clearly he was making them money, right? He sold out a 90,000 seat arena. They filled that to the brim with CM Punk. 90,000. That's huge. But the management was so poor that they let backstage politicking just get in the way of all of it. And now the guy that sold out your 90,000 seat arena, you had to fire him. You had no other choice. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I'm actually like really surprised at your take here, right? Like where you're at with this. I'm
like I said, I just don't like any of the parties involved. But at the same time, the fact that none of them could be professional at the same time makes me more angry about it. You know what I mean? Because we could have seen good things, and good things have started to happen. I've come in here and saying Collision's praises every week because it's the good show. It was the show that CM Punk had some sway on, and it was a good show every Saturday. As somebody who's at home on Saturday nights with the kids, like it's a good show. I'm here and I need something to watch on TV, and it was a good show. And now the guy who was making that a good show because of his influence needed to be fired. And I don't disagree with the reasons for the firing. I feel like anybody in that situation would have been like, okay, you got to fire him. Like you can't just let him fight people and you like that. And because that's the other thing is that it wasn't so much that like, you know, he was just fighting Jungle Boy. Like he lunged at Tony Khan as well. And that's been corroborated.
Well, I guess allegedly there was cameras backstage because they were like everywhere because they were filming, everything to kind of commemorate the All In, the event itself. So I'll be interested to see if any of that kind of stuff hits common knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think it will. I think it'll see the light of day at some point. Whether it happens sooner or later, I don't know. But it's so unfortunate, right? And it's the fans who suffer, really, and that's really it's us, the fans, who lose here, because it makes AEW a worse product, and AEW wasn't a great product. It had been slipping, and then they got CM Punk back. They started to gain some momentum. Here we are again, back at the same spot that we were at this time last year. Am I wrong?
No, because it's been about a year since Brawl Out happened.
Yeah, I mean we're about in the same spot we were last year, and what did we get? 2 months of, hey, this is actually pretty good.
So what do you think that this is going to do for Collision moving forward?
I imagine it'll be garbage. It'll probably trickle. This week's Collision was not as good but it was already kind of like it was in the bag already, I think. And then I think that next week's Collision is probably not going to be very good at all. And then I think it'll probably be a garbage show, probably before the end of the month. It won't be worth turning on. It really won't be. It'll be like Rampage. It won't be worth turning on.
Wow.
I'm being honest. I think that's going to be the case.
You really think that just because CM Punk got fired, that's going to be worse than Rampage?
Yeah. I think it's going to be not worse than. I think it'll be just on the same level. It won't be worth watching. We'll get Samoa Joe versus some chooch every couple weeks. It won't even be every week. It'll be every couple weeks. We get Samoa Joe versus some guy we've never heard of. It'll be like, in our main event. And it's like, okay, great. Sounds good. Samoa Joe versus Nick Jones.
I can't believe that you're going to sit here and tell me that Collision is going to suffer because of one guy.
I hope I'm wrong, but I can't. I think that's just what's going to happen. I think the Elite are going to show up every week, do their bullshit on Saturday, and I think it's going to be nonsense. I think it's all going to turn to shit.
Well, only time is going to tell.
Ashes in their mouth is all it's going to be.
So let me throw another one at you, is because as the internet tends to do, the speculation train is already just chugging along, and that's that CM Punk's going to show up at WWE Survivor Series War Games, which is emanating from the United Center in Chicago in just 1.5 short months. How do you feel about CM Punk possibly returning to WWE?
That sounds like a pipe dream to CM Punk for CM Punk fans, if I'm being honest. I don't think that Triple H or Vince McMahon, I don't think anybody wants anything to do. At least I don't think anybody in WWE wants anything to do with CM Punk. I think they already know. Triple H said, whatever, a year, 2 years ago, however long ago it was, they asked him, hey, what do you think about CM Punk signing with AEW? He's like, that's okay. Phil Brooks can be their problem now, is basically what he said. He's their problem now.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's anything that's happened that would lead me to believe that opinion has changed. Clearly, after what's already taken place in AEW of him being their problem, I can't see anybody. Now, is there could there be money involved if they could come to agreement? Absolutely, there could be. Does it have long-term legs? No, absolutely not. It would be a short-term thing. Honestly, if Triple H was going to do anything with CM Punk, they'd have walked him out during the Grayson Waller effect, had him confront Cody, had him and Cody have a match next month or whatever, or maybe even set that up for Survivor Series, have him have a match at Survivor Series with Cody, and then just let CM Punk go on his way. Have a short little stint there. I don't think that CM Punk would have been into that, but I think if everybody was just looking to be the business end of things, that would have been the way. But I think there's too much bad blood. I don't see CM Punk coming back to WWE. If he does, I'll happily eat crow, and I'm sure I'll watch. But that being said, I don't think that they're going to do that. I think that WWE has become too much of a well-oiled machine over the last couple of years. It's been a year, right, since Triple H took over. Over the last year, it's just become too much of a well-oiled machine. They've just consistently put on consistent shows. I don't think they're looking to do up and down stuff. I think they're looking for consistency, and I don't think that there's any consistency in bringing CM Punk into the fold within WWE. And I think that's it. I think that's the end. If I'm being honest, I think he goes the way of Ryback at this point, and that's the end of it. I don't think we see him again. I mean, he's in his mid-40s now. That's it. He's probably done. I'm sure Tony Khan still has to pay him a couple of $1 million.
I'm sure that there's definitely something that's going to come from that. And I mean, there's all kinds of reports circulating right now that, when CM Punk was on hiatus from the brawl out situation, that he was talking to WWE and was like, "Hey man, I can get fired. I can get a buyout for sure. I can be at Royal Rumble. We can make something happen there." And obviously it didn't work that way. So if those reports are, believed to be true, clearly if he was trying to get in bed with WWE, they were just like, "No, we're good, Phil. You can just."
I don't like I said. They had given the inclination a couple of years ago when CM Punk had signed, or a year and a half, or whatever it ended up being, when CM Punk had initially come to AEW, and he had said, Triple H had said at that point, "We're good. They can deal with Phil Brooks. We're good." And I think we're now just we're seeing the fallout of that. Is there money involved? Could there be money involved? Yeah, there could be. It wouldn't be consistent. It would be one pop. And I just don't feel like that's the Triple H way of things. If Vince McMahon was still in charge, I think that may have still been a possibility. Bring CM Punk back for a pop if he'd be down for it. Obviously, that's clearly that's the unknown, right? That's the X factor in this situation. Is that if CM Punk would have been down for it, I think there could have been a bring back for a 1 6-month run or something like that, but or not even like 2-month run, something like that. But I think under the guise of the consistency of Triple H, I don't see that happening, and it just doesn't seem like what they're trying to do right now. It just doesn't seem like it would fit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then too, on top of the Phil firing, I guess by all accounts, and Sports Illustrated has kind of come out and said this week, that everybody needs to expect a explosive CM Punk rebuttal to the statement that Tony Khan and AEW released regarding his termination.
Yeah, I expect that.
So, I mean, what's that going to look like? Is he going to take the high road, give Tony his flowers, and say, "Hey, Tony Khan was great to work with, but these fucking children"?
No, absolutely not. There's 0% chance of that, I think.
So you think he's just going to bury AEW?
I think he's good. Yes, I absolutely think he's going to bury AEW. I think he's going to bury everything in AEW. He's going to bury everything and everyone. I think he's going to start with the Elite, and then he's going to finish with Tony Khan, and that's going to be the end.
And then Phil rides off into the sunset, never be seen or heard from again.
I mean, I can't see why we would hear from him again. I don't see why we would hear from him again, unless somehow he comes in for some sort of a Royal Rumble appearance or something like that. I don't see any of that happening.
Interesting. So, I mean obviously,
do you think that we'll see him? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know that we're going to see him again. I mean, there's clearly still an appetite for him. There's still a fan base for him. Is he going to wind up in Impact?
There? They're leaving money on the table. AEW has already left the money on the table.
Yeah. But I don't know that some of these companies look at the business of Phil Brooks and are like, I'm good. I
mean, what's he going to end up in? NWA?
You go fuck them up too. Why not?
I mean, they're already pretty fucked. So yeah.
Billy Corgan's a mark for sure. I mean, I don't know, man. It just seems like if this is a work, it's being pulled off very, very well. And
I hope it's a work. I hope everybody just hugged and loved backstage, and I hope that this is all a work. I feel like if this is a work, this is a fantastic work, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait to give AEW the credit for a fantastic work. That being said, I don't think they're that smart.
I don't think they're that smart either, pal. I mean, and that's really just the long and the short of it. It's
It really
just
is. Unfortunately for us, it really is, because if it was a work, man, it would be so fucking. It would be the best thing on wrestling television. It would rival what they've done, at least for a moment, what they did with the Bloodline. But I don't think it's a work, and I think it's real, and I think that we've just squandered goodness.
and that the entire internet, would lead you to believe that it's a work, just simply based on the fact that Punk's merchandise is still on AEW's website. I mean, I feel like they've got to try to get some sort of return on investment, right? On the Phil Brooks experiment.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only. That's sort of my only because I looked earlier. That's sort of my only fragment of hope that this might be a work. The fact that his merch is still on the website. Hold on, let's look and see if it's still on the website right now, live, 9:32 on 9/4/2023. ShopAEW.com. Let's see what we got here. CM Punk, still a guy. Roster. We're looking. CM Punk, he's on here.
Okay, but I mean,
That's still here.
They still sell fucking Bobby Roode merchandise on WWE Shop. Like, it's still a thing. And
Bobby Roode still works for AEW, or still works for WWE though.
Yeah, he's a producer now, but I'm just saying, pal. Like, I don't know. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks with Collision, specifically with the CM Punk show. With what's going to happen. Is it a work? Isn't it a work? I think Phil's out on his ass, if I'm being honest with you. And I don't necessarily know that. I think that we waited too long to pull the trigger to fire CM Punk. And now we fired CM Punk, and the speculation is going to be he's going to show up at Survivor Series. And then when he doesn't, everybody's just going to kind of forget about CM Punk, and that's going to be the end of it.
You can buy In Punk We Trust and CMFTR shirts.
Is the Larry shirt still on there?
I'm looking for him. No, there's no Larry shirt.
Damn, I missed
a lot
him.
of Punk gear, a lot of CM Punk gear though, and none of it is discounted. Let me put that into the atmosphere. It is all still very much full price.
Well, I mean, then that I don't know.
Does that make it a work?
I don't know that it makes it a work, but it's something, right?
It's something. It ain't nothing.
So we're just going to go ahead and we're just going to leave this one open for interpretation. That this is very much one of those things that time will tell.
I hope it's a work. Really do.
So, but, I mean, I don't know. It seems like a press release. It is kind of
seems pretty
not really worky.
Seems pretty official, but I hope it's a really good work. We're still seeing Bray Wyatt promos. Anyway,
I don't know. I don't have anything else, pal.
I mean, we went over an hour. We did pretty good.
Yeah, we did do pretty good.
We did pretty good.
Did pretty good. But we just have one last thing that we need to discuss here, sir. Tom, what's your match of the week?
My match of the week is actually Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch, because I was not expecting this to be fantastic, but it was fantastic from start to finish. All of their spots worked perfectly. They beat the ever-loving shit out of each other inside of that cage. At every turn, I believed that it was a full-on fight, and I don't know that Trish Stratus has ever had a better match. And Becky Lynch proved to us why she's the GOAT. Just a great match. I even love the finish, honestly, if I'm being honest with it, because it means Trish is going to stick around. Because Zoe Stark turned on Trish at the end.
Yeah.
And I liked all of it. I was skeptical going into it. I'm like, this has kind of gone on too long. I don't know. And they both walked in there with a chip on their shoulder, like, we're gonna fucking tear this house down, and they absolutely did. And then, shortly after that, the Zoe Stark turn on Trish, and now that's gonna be the thing. So Trish is gonna stick around for a little bit, it seems like, and I'm happy about that too. So I really can't. It was, to quote Homelander, it was perfect.
It was pretty fucking good, pal. So for me, my match of the week was the main event from Payback, which was Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins. It was good to get to watch those two kind of mix it up. It was very Seth style match. Shin played his role perfectly, and it looks like we're going to get a little continuation on the feud. And I'm here for it. So
yeah, I mean, I would love to see that again, right?
That's it. That was it. So
nailed it. Payback nailed it. It really did. I thought all
the disappointed we didn't go.
Yeah.
Disappointed we didn't go.
Now I am, yeah, but it's all right. Now we know.
But you know what they say, hindsight is 20/20. So it is.
But I also watched it in 4K, like on my TV and with like surround sound and stuff. So that helped. That it's hard to be like upset about that, because like it's a really good viewing experience at home.
Yeah, for sure. So. All right, pal. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pack her up here.
Always good to hang out with you, my brother. I always miss you, and I'm always real excited to hang out with you on Mondays. So for
sure, man. It a good little tight little show, and I mean, we definitely missed our buddy here, but
we definitely missed our buddy. He would have added an extra 10 minutes of something.
Yeah, something. That's a good answer.
Something. I was thinking about. I was like, insight, brilliance, something. He added something.
Something. He would have added some Derek.
Happy anniversary, Derek.
Happy anniversary, Derek. So, all right, pal. Well, if you're still here hanging out with us, we appreciate you. If you hit that like button, we'd really greatly appreciate that. Maybe consider subscribing. Check us out over on Twitter and Instagram at @1_FallWC. That's ONE. And as always, if you're watching us, listening to us, enjoying us, whenever, wherever, we appreciate you. And with all that being said, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.